Hello everybody and welcome back to Stink Kane Sports. I'm your host Nicholas Stink Kane, and today we're going to go over my NFC, what each NFC team needs to get this offseason player-wise. Based on the 2020-2021 roster, I'm not going to take into account, such and such as a free agent like Dak Prescott. I'm not going to take into account that he's a free agent. I'm going to say that he'll be back with the Cowboys, kind of like that. So based on the team's 2020 to 2021 roster, I will be going over what each team needs to pick up this offseason. And let's start off with the Cowboys and the NFC East. In my opinion, the Cowboys easily need to start off with the front seven. They need to work on their rushing defense. I mean, they allowed over 2,500 rushing yards. Yes, Leighton Vander Esch was off the field for most of the year, but their defensive line is extremely weak. They got no pressure on the quarterback whatsoever. And 2,500 rushing yards is no joke to allow in one season. So overall, they definitely need to work on their defense if they want to have some sort of chance of competing for an NFC East title, because with that defense, they're not going to get anywhere. Next, I have the Giants. I'm going to have them get in a pass rusher, whether that be an edge linebacker or just a defensive lineman. I think that their secondary is young, and it was encouraging to watch this year. I'm not going to say it's a definite that they're going to be good, but I think they need an edge rusher more. I think they need to get some pressure to help out that secondary, give the offense another kind of big playmaker to game plan against on the defensive side of the football. I think it would really help the Giants defensively, help Daniel Jones possibly get the ball back in some easier field position spots. And if I had to give the Giants one, I'd say definitely just an elite pass rusher. Next, I have the Eagles, and I want them to get a wide receiver. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of Jalen Hurts, but we all know this year is going to be about developing Jalen Hurts. That is the key thing that the Eagles are going to try and do this year, because they're going to see if they have something in Jalen Hurts. And right now, if they want to give him a fair shot, they need to give him a number one wide receiver to help him grow as a quarterback. Alshon Jeffrey, yes, he's still in the Eagles. He is not a receiver you can depend on, in my opinion. You have receivers like Greg Ward, and then people like, Arcega-Whiteside, and da-da-da-da-da. I just think that the Eagles need to find a wide receiver to help Hurts grow in that system, in the new coaching system that they're going to acquire this offseason, and help him develop. If they want to see if they have something with him, give him a fair shot, give him a wide receiver. And also, the Washington football team, I have them getting a wide receiver as well. This team has a lot of easy needs. You could go quarterback, you could go tight end, you could go safety, cornerback, etc., etc., etc. I think they need a wide receiver. You see the Washington football team has multiple options right now at quarterback. Yes, they're mediocre. We don't know what they're going to get from a lot of them. Those options right now being Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke. Alex Smith is likely to be gone. But they're looking at a variety of quarterbacks to use this offseason. And honestly, I think if they want to give that quarterback a fair shot, they need to get him another wide receiver. Because let's be honest, Cam Sims is not a number 2 wide receiver. Let's be completely honest. Steven Sims Jr. and Dontrell Inman are not 3 and 4s, okay? They're Inman is arguably a practice squad wide receiver. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? Terry McLaurin is starting to get double teamed. He's starting to be the main focus of this offense. They need to get another wide receiver to draw some attention away from McLaurin and just let the two of them eat. We saw Heineke be effective. He can be effective all year. That's great. I think the football team will pick up a quarterback either late in the draft or in free agency. But right now, wide receiver is the biggest need, because without another one, and they're a young quarterback or just a quarterback that's not too great, it's going to be a rough year for the offensive side of the ball for the Washington football team once again. Let's move on to the NFC North. The Vikings, I have front seven once again. I think right now they need a linebacker, if I'm going to be completely honest, because Anthony Barr's not getting any younger, Michael Kendrick's not getting any younger, and they just need somebody to fill that spot, even an edge rusher, somebody like it doesn't have to be Von Miller level, like a Brian Burns. If they get somebody like Brian Burns in the draft or just in free agency, that would be amazing. They allowed over 2,000 rushing yards, and just some help in the front seven and some evidence of a pass rush would just be great. Defensive tackle would be great. They have nobody. Danielle Hunter's right now their number one pass rusher, and he's above average, but besides him in the front seven, there's nobody. So the Vikings, if they want to give Kirk Cousins a shot to compete, not have to force him to put up 30 plus a game each week, you need to get some help on the defensive side of the football, and it all starts with stopping the run. So Vikings, pick up something in the front seven. The Bears, easy. quarterback. Mitch Trubisky, yes or no? They need to figure it out. They've been hanging on to him for too long, in my opinion. For me, he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. Mitch Trubisky is not going to win you a Super Bowl. And and the Bears have the defense to lead them to a Super Bowl. They really do. They have people like Khalil Mack, Eddie. They're so talented on the defensive side of the football. It's frustrating to see how weak their offense is. And if they can re-sign, Allen Robinson, they still got Montgomery. I mean, they got a dangerous team with a quarterback. So in order to elevate this team to NFC North contenders and then possibly to make the playoffs Super Bowl contenders, they need a quarterback. That's simple as that. Bears quarterback. Packers, listen. I say secondary. I would have told you the rush defense before the NFC Championship game. Then I had the pleasure of watching Kevin King shit the bed. Now let's not kid ourselves seriously. They are a beyond exceptional team offensively. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, MVP season, beast. Devontae Adams, top high wide receiver, absolutely. But their defense ranked 13th in the league, and there could be some improvement. I mean, you saw the Bucs. They won the Super Bowl. They had a third-ranked defense. They need some help. The Packers need some defensive help. And I think I'm going to start with the secondary because Kevin King just absolutely blew that NFC Championship game. Jair Alexander, in my opinion, is the best cornerback in the NFL, and I can live with Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos at safety. Yes, you could replace Savage. I would understand. But right now, I think you need another number 2 cornerback to really solidify that defense. Yes, as I said, rush defense would be very important. Someone to match up with Kenny Clark or just an edge rusher because I'm not a big fan of Preston Smith. I'm really not. I'm not a fan of Preston Smith. But I mean, just another cornerback to help Jair would be great. Make the job on Darnell Savage a lot easier. I think it would make this Packers team very tough to pass the ball against and very tough to beat. Head-on-head offense versus defense. I think they'd be very, very good. I think they'd be one of my top picks to win the Super Bowl going into the 2021 or 2022 season. Next, we have the Lions. Defense. Over 6,700 total yards. 6,700 total yards. There are cars that are probably in my neighborhood that have less. I mean, they have less miles, I bet, than the Lions let up yards. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, they were horrible. 32nd in the league, 6.3 yards per play. They had no defensive playmakers. Desmond Trufant? No, I'm sorry. Some of you may say Desmond Trufant. He was a decent cornerback for the Falcons. He's no big name defensive player, especially anymore. I mean, he was mediocre at best last year. He's not a number 1 cornerback. Number 2, yes. I would love to have Desmond Trufant as a solid number 2 cornerback. That would be great. Number 1, hell no. You need help. They need help on all aspects of the defense. They're in a rebuilding mode. They just shipped off Stafford. Galladay may be gone. It's going to be a mess in Detroit. It's going to be a mess. It's been a mess, and it's going to continue to be a mess. But in order to compete in some games, to some degree, in order to start a rebuild, defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. And, I think you need to start with the defense. So they were 32nd in the league. They were dead last. They were the worst defense for the Lions. Doesn't matter what position, they just need some help. Saints, we're moving on to the NFC South, excuse me. Quarterback. I'm not sold on Taysom Hill at all. He's not the permanent answer. He's like a right-handed Tim Tebow. I think so. And Jameis Winston remains a huge question. I mean, we saw Taysom Hill start for Jameis Winston. I mean, that's not encouraging at all. They need to fix that spot because it is the sole reason that they lost to the Buccaneers in the divisional game. Drew Brees was really weak. His arm is shot at this point. He's going to retire, unfortunately. Legend, future first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. Greatest player in Saints history, but right now they need to find his replacement, and I don't think it's on the roster right now. So, Saints quarterback, Panthers. Okay, tight end. I have 2 for the Panthers: tight end and secondary help. The Panthers were 21st in the league in passing defense, and are rolling with Dante Jackson and Corn Elder right now as their top corners. Yeah. Also, their starting tight end is Ian Thomas. Ian Thomas. Have you ever heard of him? Because neither have I. Neither have I. Boss man racked up a mean 20 catches for 145 yards in a season. If you want Teddy Bridgewater to be successful, give him a safety valve. Give him a tight end. You don't know how much a tight end helps a quarterback. So much. Just to have a big target to throw to. So much. Give him a tight end, man. It doesn't have to be a Gronk. It doesn't have to be a Greg Olsen. A Zach Ertz. If you can get him somebody like just a Logan Thomas for the football team. That's a Dallas Goedert. An Austin Hooper. Do you realize how much of a difference that would make in Teddy Bridgewater's success? It would be amazing. And the secondary help, obviously, yes. You want to get Cornelder out of that number 2 spot. But tight end, yeah, that's just something else. The Buccaneers, the Super Bowl champs. Man, there's not much. They don't need a quarterback. I think we proved that. And they're not going to get a quarterback. That's out of the question. Their running back duo is quite phenomenal. So what I landed on is isn't just an elite edge pass rusher. Shaquille Barrett and Dominican Sue and Jason Pierre-Paul are not getting any younger. And they're all either going to... I know I said I wasn't going to go over it, but they're all either going to be free agents in next year or they're already free agents. You need to get some young guys in there. Begin to develop them. Give them some mentors. You got Barrett, Sue, and Jason Pierre-Paul. Do you realize how helpful that could be to a young defensive pass rusher? Get somebody in there. Get them ready for the next couple years. I think that's their biggest need right now. If I had to give them a biggest need. And then we got the Falcons. Pass defense, pass defense, pass defense. They average 7.2 yards per pass attempt. Kendall Sheffield. They're one of their starting cornerbacks. Kendall Sheffield, all pro. A.J. Terrell. Wow. No. I have completely given up as well on Keanu Neal. They're strong safety. I've seen nothing encouraging from him in the past couple seasons. And DeMonte Casey just seems to be there sometimes. He really does. They're not... Keanu Neal, I think he's one of the most overrated players in the NFL. I really do. I don't see him... he's just... I think they need to get some new... Obviously, just get anybody in the secondary. Safeties, cornerbacks, whatever. You need to get them out of there. You need to move on from Keanu Neal. You need to move on from... A.J. Terrell, he could be a fine second or third. That's fine. Okay? But Kendall Sheffield, no. No Kendall Sheffield, okay? But yeah, Falcons easily need some secondary help. 7.2 yards gain per pass attempt is unacceptable. They have great offensive threats. You do not need to go get another first-round wide receiver. I'm sorry. You don't need to get a running back. You have Todd Gurley. You have Matt Ryan. He's good enough. I think you need secondary help if you want to compete. You need secondary help. That's what the Falcons need. Moving on to the NFC West, we have the Seahawks. Offensive line is what they need, in my opinion. They had the 27th ranked offensive line this year. They gave up 47 sacks and allowed pressure on 38% of passing snaps. Yes, I just threw a lot of numbers at you, but they do need some offensive line help if they want to protect Russell Wilson, if he's even going to stay there. There are trade rumors that Wilson could be gone. Do I think he's going to leave? No. But they need some offensive line help to assist Wilson and make him as successful as possible. Moving on to the 49ers. I have quarterback. I have not been impressed with Jimmy G. I was very high on him when he was in New England. He looked real good. When the 49ers got him, thought it was a great move. He led them to a Super Bowl. He did not lead them. He went to a Super Bowl with the 49ers by piggybacking off their defense. He's coming off a high ankle sprain, and he really hasn't shown me much to put him into consideration of a top 16 quarterback. When you look at the rest of their depth chart, who played a lot of the year, you have C.J. Beathard and you have Nick Mullins, who are just worse versions of Garoppolo. So I think they need to find a QB to run their offense and produce points to make an elite, healthy defense's job a lot easier. And they could compete. This division is going to be great. They can get a quarterback. You get the Seahawks, the Niners, the Cardinals, and the Rams. This division is going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It really is. It's going to be one of the best divisions. If the 49ers can get a quarterback, on paper, It's going to be one of the best divisions that we have seen in the past decade, hands down. It's going to be so competitive. Moving down to the Cardinals, cornerback help. They did just sign J.J. Watt, but we're going off the 2020 roster. But I do have that in the back of my mind, so, you know. But the cornerback help, you have an aging Patrick Peterson as your number one cornerback. And then you go to Benny Benwikere. I don't even know how to say his name. Sorry if I butchered that. But they need help. I mean, I've never heard of this guy. I'm going to be completely honest. And they need to get some cornerback help, whether it be in the offseason or in the draft, to match up with an aging Patrick Peterson, because he cannot man down that secondary anymore like he used to be able to. It's not 2014 anymore, fellas. They need to get some young talent in there. Isaiah Simmons, I'm very high on. I think he has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. I really do. He is an amazing athlete. He can play linebacker. He can play safety. He has a lot of potential. Did he have a great year? No. But I think he has a lot of potential. I think they need to work on the cornerback spot. Help that secondary out. Because that was their weakest link in 2020. And the final team, the Rams, who are looking like premier Super Bowl contenders with Matthew Stafford. I haven't getting a running back. In order to help Matthew Stafford, the threat of an elite running back would make the Rams an easy Super Bowl favorite in the NFC, in my opinion. I think, nothing against Cam Akers, but I don't think he's a long-time option. They can go get an elite running back in the second round of the draft, third round of the draft. I think it'd be huge for the Rams. Absolutely huge. I think that would propel them, just to an entirely different level offensively. I mean, they have Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, and Cooper Kupp, who I'm all satisfied with for now. Running back, though, Cam Akers, I don't think he's going to get a good job done. You have Matthew Stafford, you get him a run game. I mean, I like the Rams already. You get him a run game. Whoo-wee! But that is all I have for you today, folks. I hope you did enjoy the video. Please consider liking and subscribing. Drop who do you think your favorite team should pick up in the offseason down below. And I'm out. Peace.